Hi, Mark Kerrigan again here. I'd like to talk to you about cautions about buying a low-cost franchise. There are three key areas that a lot of people ask, why would I just invest in a low-cost franchise? It's less out of pocket. It seems like it's less risk. Well, from an initial financial investment, I guess it is. But here are three elements that a lot of franchise owners, especially who have invested there, would caution new people to consider. The first is the long hours. It is extremely common from the low and even the medium cost franchises such as Subway. Very common that many long hours have to be spent. Now, any sort of restaurant is highly service oriented, and then all of the service companies at the low end, such as all the cleaning companies, the business cleaning companies, the janitorial companies, as well as the personal home cleaning companies. These are extremely labor intensive and almost always require the owner's involvement in multiple areas. Now, you may not have to clean the homes, but you'll need to be on site to monitor, to look at quality, to communicate with the customers, to sell the customers, to collect money from the customers who are delinquent, on and on, to resolve problems. It is not unusual for owners to work well over 40 hours a week, and we have heard especially 60 to 80 hours is not uncommon, especially in the first 2 years of a low-cost franchise. Another consideration is this. Very often the franchise owner is underpaid, especially up front. You see, a lot of franchise owners at the low end would be pleased to make a six-figure salary, which is in the US $100,000 or more. Now, here's the truth. Based on experience, that doesn't usually happen, and I have some information here that I've looked into. It doesn't usually happen until the fourth or fifth year that an owner makes $100,000 a year. Now, that's pretty sad, given the amount of time and the investment and the effort and the ownership that someone at that level of responsibility doesn't make $100,000. Clearly, most people are coming into franchises to make at least that, and many people are investing much more than that. So that's another consideration. And the other thing about this is when there is cash, you don't pay yourself first. You pay any employees first, you pay your vendors first, you pay your taxes first, you pay your electric bill first, you pay your supplies first. If you're in the janitorial business and you don't have buckets that don't leak and mops that still clean, you don't pay yourself that week. You go out and get new mops and new buckets. Again, an extreme example, but this is very typical at the low end of the spectrum. Finally, and probably most importantly, if you've listened this long, is that there is no advertising buffer. What does that mean? Well, advertising is the lifeblood of any business. If customers don't know you're there, you won't make any money. Now, even if you have a well-known name, if they don't know about your shop, what are you to do? So luckily, a lot of franchise companies, the franchise owners or the franchisors, such as McDonald's corporate or Subway corporate, they do national advertising in many, many markets to help. However, usually there's an investment that each franchisor has to pay, or each franchisee, the person who owns the franchise, has to pay. It's usually an ongoing cost. But usually that isn't enough to necessarily drive business to your shop, to your business. So every type of marketing and advertising is open to you, but usually this is an area that's under considered in terms of the cost and the effort, the ongoing effort, and finding a method that works for your market. You see, a lot of these companies are local market companies. A janitorial company, for example, would operate in a local market because it's service oriented. A local Subway restaurant would operate in a certain market. So that it's very important to drive business to your business. So you'll often see all sorts of advertising, direct mail, internet, all sorts of other things. So this is an area that is not really meant to discourage you because there are solutions here, but there are many considerations. So for those of you looking for an easier path here, looking for a reasonable investment and some proven marketing methods, we do have some alternatives for you to take a look at. Click on the link, we'll be glad to share them with you. Thanks for listening.